Welcome back to Not Easy Being Geeky. Welcome to season 2, guys. It's very much improved. First off, we don't have pillows everywhere, or blankets, so huge upgrade to the setup. So thank you to our wonderful patrons for that. Without you guys, yeah, shit would still be sketch. Sus for those of you that play Among Us. But we are back for a very special spooky episode for episode 1. Yes. And we have a wonderful guest with us today, who just to give you guys some background, just happens to be my best friend. But she is literally the perfect person for this episode. I'm not just saying that. She is the queen of spook herself. So hello, Miss Mary Susan.
Hi, internet. Oh my goodness. Such an introduction, and me without a stitch of makeup on.
Yeah, full on in cosplay essentially. She came right from full on getting into cosplay essentially. But yeah, so I have some questions for her before we get into the official episode. So
the interview portion of the
yes,
pageant.
the interview portion of the episode. Yes. So Mary Susan,
Yes.
my dear friend.
Yes.
These are questions that I don't even know about you.
Oh,
So I thought it would be
intrigue.
yes, I know. I thought it'd be interesting.
Are we gonna get closer tonight?
I
can
hope
feel God
so.
in this podcast tonight.
Jesus. Pam would be proud. Okay, so what got you interested in horror films? Because I know they're like such a huge part in your life, and I mean that's like your favorite thing in the world is gore
Yes.
and guts and blood.
Yes, my happy place.
So what got you into that? I really don't know.
Well, I was always the weird kid, right? So like it was always I loved Halloween. I was obsessed with it. I never like my dad so badly wanted like the little girl who wanted to be a fairy princess for Halloween, but I wanted to be Dracula. And he's like, "Oh, vampire princess." I'm like, "No, father. Dracula." Like with the widow's peak and everything. Like I wanted to be a boy, Dracula. And I was fully realized, but he wouldn't let me go to trunk or treat with that. But I always was super obsessed with Halloween. And then my sister growing up, she never wanted to watch horror movies alone, so she would always make me watch them with her, no matter how young I was and childhood trauma thrown to the wind.
Me walking in on my brothers watching Arachnophobia and realizing I actually do have arachnophobia.
Same energy. Hi.
I am forever scarred by that scene where they try to put the slippers on. So every time I'm always shaking out my shoes, like just terrified to death. Because I'm like, I don't want to die by spider bite.
Nay.
No,
but it was just my sister, and I think it really was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one with Jessica Biel.
Yes.
Like the newest one, and I was like, oh, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, and I liked being scared. And then from there, it was just been downhill from there.
So you just kind of got hooked because it was like kind of forced on you at first.
Definitely. She would make me watch Jaws and then make me go swimming. So, Chris, if you're listening to this, it's your fault.
The irrational fear of a shark being in your pool. I think we have all had that like horrible nightmare at one point.
I'm telling you, in Birmingham, Alabama, in my grandparents' pool, there was a shark in the deep end. You couldn't tell me otherwise. Jesus. You could not tell me, especially at night. And then we'd watch like The Hills Have Eyes on a mountain trip.
They always have like the creepy lights in a pool. Why is that? They're not like nice lights. They're like sketch, like the like blue lit. Like they're creepy as shit. Yes. They look like haunted house lights. Why are you gonna put that in the middle of a fucking pool? It's already creepy at night. Why you gotta make it look scarier? Like instantly, I'm gonna think there's a shark in there.
As an adult now, scaring children is super fun, so I guess that's why.
So I know you love doing FX makeup.
Yes.
What do you remember what your first one was, or like what inspired you to do it?
Yes. So I was in college, and it was kind of at the peak of The Walking Dead. This was like
Ooh, yeah.
2013.
2013-ish, yeah.
Fall of 2013. And I don't know if you've seen The Walking Dead, and
Yes.
it's the first little girl in the pink bathrobe.
Ooh,
And
yeah,
she
yeah,
has
yeah.
that like gnarled up tooth and
Yeah,
like
it's
cheek.
that iconic scene
Yes.
where Rick just wakes up and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh, there's a little girl out in the open,"
And it's
and
like gooey braces,
yeah.
kersnickety
Just-
snazzle. Yes. But
super
crusty. And I was just
crusty
like a woman.
crabs,
Yeah.
like just full on the crust.
Yes, and I was obsessed with wanting to do that look. So I like practiced and watched 700 million YouTube videos, because the blessing of the world is YouTube makeup tutorials.
Yes.
And I tried it, and dude, you could not tell me anything. I killed it. I was like, oh, this is the one. She is everything. And I look back on it now, and I'm like, oh, girl, she tried. She really tried. But at the
looking back at
time,
my old eyebrows.
yes.
Me.
Sponsored by Anastasia Dip Brow, please sponsor
Oh,
us.
I still use it. That's what's funny. But thank God they don't look like tadpoles anymore. That was. I don't know who showed me that, but
You're like, it's
I'm
your
coming
fault.
for your shoes, man. I'm coming for your shoes, man.
No, but yeah. So it was The Walking Dead, I guess.
Shitting in them. Oh man, yeah. Walking Dead. I could see that.
It was a huge cultural influence for me,
Yeah.
because my biggest thing ever, and you know this, is zombies. I
Yes.
love a zombie anything. I collect zombie everything. So it was like wanting to make my own zombies kind of went from there, and then it was just like more and more and more, and then snowballed.
Yeah, I think that's really, really cool.
Cute. Yeah.
What because I know this, but these people don't know this. Mary Sue does something called Mary Sue's 31 Days of Halloween, which by the time you guys see this will have been the last day of it. So
Yes.
go binge it. It's awesome. She just improves more and more every year, and I love seeing her growth. But what made you want to start doing that?
You'll relate to this, because you and I are the same level of extra.
Yeah.
I couldn't pick just one Halloween costume. And I was like, I want to do a lot.
You just wanted to do all of them.
And I was like, what if I do one every single day? And it had been like 31 days, doing 31 days of something like on Instagram, because like in I think I started at like 2016.
I think it was too.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was kind of like Instagram was really huge then, you know, it wasn't just like something small. And doing 31 days, I'd seen other people do it, and I was like, you know what, let's try. And oh my gosh, I tried so hard, and it was like every year it's gotten a lot easier. But it's crazy that it's been like 5 years of me doing it now, you know, and I get to kind of see that going back. But it was just truly just me wanting to be extra and like I was like, I want to be 7 things, might as well just add, you know, 22 other things.
Yeah, me every single Halloween since I was a kid basically wanted to get into full cosplay on Halloween, not even knowing what the hell cosplay was when I was a kid, but that's what I wanted to do.
Rachel wanted it like down to the seam, down to the zipper.
You could not tell me.
Okay,
so I remember I was like maybe maybe I was like 8 or 9, and that was when Revenge of the Sith was like in its peak, and I had saved up so much money to get my brother's Christmas presents this year. I don't know how the hell I did it. I don't even remember. But I remember my middle brother, he is a fucking huge Star Wars fan, and that was when like the first ever like Darth Vader voice changer helmet came out.
Oh,
and you thought it was the shit.
Oh,
and
because it was
like $50.
Oh, but it was the height of technology.
It was so crazy expensive. And I remember, I don't know how the hell at like 8 years old, like I saved up that much money, but I did. And I made sure, I probably stole it. Or my mom like lied to me and said I had enough money and something. And whatever, I got my brother it, and he flipped his shit. And that Halloween, the next year, I was Padme in her outfit where she's like in the what the hell? I'm trying to think what it was. Where they're in the pit and she's got like the white outfit,
like the full
and the
white,
fucking cape,
white boot and white.
Yeah, that shit was fucking dope. And she's got the blasters,
white on white.
Yeah, that was my shit.
That was always my favorite Padme outfit.
I think, yeah, mine too.
Like other than like the obvious like big like single bun like geisha one.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Amidala.
If we're talking about like on the go Padme.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's iconic. And my brother, I begged him to put that Darth Vader voice changer helmet on, and he took me trick-or-treating as Darth Vader, and I was Padme. And I did that for like 3 years in a row because I loved that costume so fucking much.
Yes.
And I would just like sit in my room in that costume because it was so cool.
I think that's the coolest part about kids is it's like, I used to always like want to be something different for Halloween. Like I never wanted to repeat it, but there's kiddos who just like, no, they're like Darth Vader every year or Ghostface every year.
Yeah. I know my mom got sick of me being Dorothy.
No,
when like my mom, she was like, because I know I was her like 2 or 3 years in a row. I know I was because I had the like best freaking shoes for it. They looked exactly like them.
You've been into shoes since birth.
Since birth, that's my mother's fault. Yes, but yeah. So, gosh, I didn't even know what cosplay was, and that's what I wanted to do. If there's like anything you could like improve on. What would you like as yourself give yourself a critique to improve yourself on?
I love that question. Because I'm like my own worst critic.
Yeah.
So like I really like have to give myself a pep talk to post looks even half the time. I get really proud of myself.
It's hard to put yourself out there.
It is, and it's like and there's certain times I do something I'm like, oh, she really did that. Like she killed it. But then there's certain times I'm like, oh, go off. I'm really good at makeup. And then there's some days where I'm like, oh, okay, and delete.
You know
Facebook,
what it is?
Delete
you know what
Instagram.
it is? Because you look good in the mirror, and then when you try to take a fucking picture, it doesn't translate. Because that's what was happening to me this morning. I was like, I look hot today, and Jesus,
she does look hot today.
And like no picture I was taking was looking right, and I was like, you know what, fuck it.
Well, and I definitely think I rush a lot, and sometimes I like it's kind of getting that pacing right because I notice on looks that I really, really take my time on. Also, I just have like so much more to learn about. Like this year was my big prop making year.
Yeah.
Like I did lock, shock, and barrel and made the masks.
That was amazing.
Like I was like, that was kind of like every year I kind of give myself a challenge. Like last year it was more like wigs. And this year it was like contacts and mask making and making props. And so I'm like every year I try to like hone a new kind of craft. So
that's a good way to challenge yourself though and to improve because the more you do something the better you get at it. So it's kind of like giving yourself a reason to get better at it. It's like, no, I'm gonna force myself even if it looks like shit, at least maybe the next time I do it I'll know what not to do, and it just only makes yourself better at it.
For sure. And part of the fun and the magic of it is like seeing how you can do it on like cheap, like using Party City masks with Model Magic clay.
Oh yeah, I am the queen of getting all my cosplay wigs on Amazon for like $16. I don't
I'm telling you, if you
I have no clue how I did that.
Wigs on Amazon.
Jeez.
You are too bougie for me.
Like my Persephone one that I did.
Yes.
That took me 7 hours to make that fucking wig look decent. And oh my god,
because you dyed it in your bathtub
because I
swirled it around like a doololly.
Yeah, well, I had to because it was so fucking long. Because if I tried to like soak it, it wasn't.
She had it in one whole dreadlock.
It was oh god, it was so bad.
Crunchy.
So then it took me like 7 or 8 hours to detangle that bitch. Oh man,
it was
but
a miracle
let me tell you,
on that thing.
Let me tell you, nothing can tangle that wig now. It's fucking perfect,
immaculate.
But Jesus, that wig. Whew. It's
gorge though.
It's
shout out to Rachel's cosplays. She won't brag on herself, but go follow her on TikTok because her cosplays deserve way more attention than they get. Y'all are fake for not loving her cosplays, okay? Because they're super, super awesome and she works super hard. And also, shout out to her for having like just probably like 105 drafts in her inbox at all times to post daily.
I really do have.
Could not be me. I get one good one. I'm like, that's it.
I'll tell you what it is.
TikTok is hard.
Yes,
transitions are hard. Keeping up with the young people's hard. We're getting old.
I'm not on that level of TikTok with the transitions and shit.
I did one the other day, and I thought I saw God. Jesus. I was like, this is it. You can't touch me.
I'm like subpar at editing my TikToks, and
I figured out how to make like little flashies happen.
I just recently found out that you don't have to pinch your phone to zoom, that when you're recording you can just slide your
Slide
thumb.
your finger. Oh.
That blew me the fuck away. So that can just tell you how old I am, that it took me that long to figure that out.
I set the timer the other day. Someone taught me how to do that, a young person. So I'm like, thank you, young people.
Thank you.
How do you do
I'm not
fellow
even
kids?
gonna lie. I've looked up tutorials on YouTube on how to do shit, because I'm like, how the fuck do people do that?
I just want to be like, God, cosplay TikTok is the coolest.
Cosplay TikTok is
let me in.
The coolest, and let me just tell you, so underrated.
I would definitely sit with all these people at lunch. Like
Oh,
if we're in if we're in a
yes.
high school, these would be the people I would hang out with.
In a heartbeat. Oh my god, yes. Jesus, yeah. But people do such crazy fucking special effects makeup too, though. That's what I was gonna ask you. What's your favorite thing about special effects makeup?
Dude, it is the artistry. I am like obsessed with like the whole process of everything. Like I can tell you like different like V. Neil and like Tom Savini. V. Neil is Beetlejuice. Like she also did Mrs. Doubtfire. You know, that's
holy
the thing.
Shit.
Isn't that so dope? Because that's
that
the
is
thing.
Such a drastic change from those dynamics.
It is, but it's all the same concepts. It's just SFX makeup turning into something different. Like anyone who does cosplay can vouch for this. And I don't know if it's a low self-confidence thing.
The transformation aspect, it makes you feel confident.
Being someone else, I'm telling you, you can't tell me anything. When I'm covered in fake blood and holding a knife, I am feeling at my cutest. But it's just, I think also getting people into that. Like working at the haunted house, I got to kind of put people in the special effects makeup. People who would just kind of like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. And so that's kind of my favorite thing about it is it's just monster making.
That's really cool. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
Fun fact about V. Neil. Please look V. Neil up. Thank you. More women in the movie industry. This has been my TED Talk. Thank you.
Yes. I stan. But what's crazy is like the whole transformation aspect. Okay, so recently I did Shigo cosplay.
Yes.
And let me tell you, normally I like my cosplays, you could tell they're mine because my face looks the same in all of them. But when I did my Shigo cosplay, I've never seen myself look so pale.
You're a real white girl now, Rachel.
Like, oh my gosh. Because when I did Marceline, you know, like obviously she's a vampire, so
but you still looked.
I still looked, like just like a dead version of myself. But when I did Shigo, I had to paint myself white, and then I contoured with like green and shit. Because
wild.
Because like in the cartoon, she's like got like this green glow like onto her skin, like she's radioactive or some shit.
Oh, it's total color theory and guessing sometimes.
So I had
things to life.
It took me forever, and I'm still pissed that my fucking contacts didn't come in time. God.
I'm telling you, contacts, you have to order them. The website I use, I can even pay for like the 3 to 7 day shipping.
It still takes like 3 weeks.
I was about to say, it's still going to be 14 days. So if you need to order contacts, I always advise like 3 weeks in advance.
Oh, yeah. Decide your cosplay way ahead in advance. Yeah. It's not, But anyway,
contacts really do bring it there.
It really does.
Like, super fun.
And that's the thing that made me mad, because I felt like it would have been even better had my eyes like had their like crazy ass green anyway. In other words, I'm going to be redoing that cosplay because I finally got the fucking contacts. But yeah. Oh, what is your favorite look that you've done? Because I know you've done so many now. I mean, think about it. Like 5 years times.
Well, 7 years of special effects makeup total. 5 years of 31
days.
The
31 days.
Because I did like a 7 years of like all the zombie makeups I've done. Ooh, that's a really, really good one. It's so funny because it's like knowing what other people's favorite thing that I've done versus like my own. It's so funny.
It's different.
It's so funny because like I'm a theater nerd too, so like my Phantom of the Opera was like,
oh, that one was really good. Yeah,
it was just like, it was like a heart.
It was
hug.
very, very gooey and scabby.
But I got to sing like,
it was so good.
Oh, it was so good, and it was just like I felt so cool. And I gotta say my Sweeney Todd too, but like
that one is a really good one. I do enjoy that one.
Thank you. But I guess like if I were to say like ones that I've put like the absolute most work in, my Freddy from this year, my Freddy Krueger from this year. It was like my fully realized like Freddy Krueger. He is my favorite like horror icon, you know, but That's a really, really good question. It changes every year, you know, when I do new things, but I would have to say either my Phantom of the Opera or my Freddy Krueger.
I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I could tell you put in a lot of effort into
Oh,
those.
so
So
much. And then I got in that sweater. No wonder he's killing children. I was so hot and bothered.
Jeez. Oh, that's the other thing people don't realize. When you get into cosplay, that shit's
Dude.
very uncomfortable.
It is.
I have maybe 3 cosplays that are actually comfortable, and it's my Steven Universe one.
Sailor Mars, I bet.
Yeah, my Sailor Mars
Yes.
one where she's in her not in her Sailor Senshi outfit. I did the one where she's in the pink overalls. That is
iconic
probably
pink overalls.
Yeah,
by the
iconic
way.
pink overalls. That's one of my dream cosplays, and I finally did it.
She's been
and
talking about that for years, y'all. It's happening.
It's because it's such a fucking look, man.
is.
90s fashion at its peak.
Yes.
Pink, fucking bubblegum pink overalls.
It was transcendent.
Some teal ass tube socks and some kids.
and like just
And
the
she
back.
was killing it.
Such a look.
It was
I would
such
wear
a
that
look.
today. Like
Yeah. I've literally was walking around after I got out of that cosplay, and I just like fluffed up my fro. And people were like, that outfit is so cute. And I was like, I've just been in cosplay for the past 4 hours doing TikToks. And you don't even know.
yes.
Oh man. Yeah. But gosh, I love cosplaying.
It's just fun like pretending to be someone else, and it's cool that like it was to tell you how cool cosplay is like kind of starting to transcend one of the people I work with, older gentleman like in his 50s, he saw my like Instagram, he goes, so do you cosplay? I said, oh, one day I'll be that cool. I kind of like I like to think of myself as like character making, but I mean if cosplay is such a fun loose term, you know,
It really is,
I don't
and I think
I'm
that's what people don't
below
realize.
or above cosplay. I just think like sometimes I think like when you cosplay it's like a conscious choice. I'm like a Halloween costume. You know? I'm like,
I do Halloween 365. I love it.
yes.
Speaking of Halloween, our episode today is a very special one. It's one of my
Ooh.
favorite movies of all time, honestly, and I know you love this movie.
Yes.
And I feel like it's kind of underrated, honestly.
A little bit.
A little bit, cuz
not with millennials, but
no, but just in general, like
It's
like
kind of
it doesn't get
slept
as
on.
much hype as like its other movies. Like okay, so I'm just gonna say it. We're talking about Coraline today.
Woo.
I love this film so much. Henry Selick is so underrated
Yes.
because Tim Burton unfortunately gets a lot of the credit for
Oh my goodness.
because they work on a lot of movies together.
yes.
But really Henry Selick is the one that's the genius behind a lot of it. Don't get
Oh,
me
yeah.
wrong, Tim Burton has done some crazy amazing work, but
But when it comes to putting the world building to life,
exactly.
it's like yes, thank Tim Burton for Nightmare Before Christmas, but Henry Selick's the one that
directed it.
and it's not like they're easy.
And that's
films
the
to
crazy
direct.
thing is
Like,
because they call it Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
oh, you know he requested that.
And yeah.
You know that's right from Timmy's mouth.
Yes. So it's actually Henry Selick's Nightmare
Yes.
Before Christmas. And so is Coraline. Coraline is a Henry Selick film. And it's made by Leica Films.
good.
They're amazing.
Incredible stop motion.
Seriously amazing with stop motion and so innovative. I mean, the shit they think of, like when you see some of the behind the scenes for their movies, they used a fucking dog toy in Coraline
Mhm.
to make the flowers bloom. Who would have looked at a dog toy and thought, you know what, let's use that to
Oh, yeah.
make a flower move? Who
Well, and
would have
it's
thought of that?
incredible, like what they make it. Like we were talking about on Disney Plus that. Is it Prop Master, that show?
Yes!
That props, and they
Oh
talk
my
about Nightmare
God.
Before Christmas and getting to kind of see the background
Yeah.
of like everything that goes into movies.
First
like
of all,
I'm
some
like,
of these sets are huge.
huge.
Like
and
the Pink Palace was like probably the size of me, honestly.
Yes.
It's huge. And like the actual the puppets were like 8 to 10 inches tall.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would have never thought that they were that big, but it
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense because obviously when they're creating them, they can't be super tiny. Like I'm thinking they're the size of a pop figure, like 4
Yeah.
inches, and no,
no.
double that.
Yeah.
And they're super detailed. It's crazy. Like every little, it's just, I think what people don't realize with stop motion is every aspect of them, someone made that.
It's
And
insanity.
it's
The
crazy.
craftsmanship.
Yeah, because it's just so interesting to me. I love stop motion. I feel like it's such an underrated craft. I mean, it
Ugh.
takes such an immense amount of patience and effort and time, and it's
To make it look
to look, yeah,
good, too.
natural. That's what
Yeah.
it is, you know?
I think their best was Corpse Bride.
Oh, that was a
When
beautiful.
it comes to, like, the craft of stop motion,
Yeah.
her veil in the wind,
Yeah.
you know, it just looked so delicate, and you
Yeah.
wouldn't know that
It's
it was, like,
beautiful.
plastic and clay. The
Yeah.
crazy thing about the figures from, like, Leica and, like, stop motion
Mhm.
with them, they melt. Like, over time, the figures, like,
Holy shit.
in Prop Master, they were talking about, like, Jack Skellington's hands are usually on, like, the collectibles because, like, they have about, like, 40 figures for a film,
Yeah,
and then
for
they, like, some people keep them, some people can sell them, but,
yeah, I
like, their
saw that
hands
Leica Films,
melt.
like, sold all their original puppets or
Yep.
some shit.
Mhm.
This was before, what was it?
Kubo?
Cubo. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Cubo and the Two String.
Which was also slept on.
Yes! That should have won Best Fucking Animation. What movie was it that won? I think it was
cannot
Tangled.
I think that's the thing is it's, like, I feel
And
like
it's not like that's not good, but obviously, like, stop motion is just such
it
a
just
craft.
it's a league of its own.
God,
And
yeah, that honestly, I'm still spicy about that. It was another film that,
spicy.
yeah, spicy, that won, and I feel like that was ripped from them.
Oh,
I really felt
completely.
like that was some bull crap, honestly.
I feel like,
And I think it's
honestly
because it's not your typical
Oh, yeah.
animated film, you know, it's not like your Disney film where it's all happy, sweet sunshine, you know, and that's normally what wins,
Well,
unfortunately.
don't even get me started on how, like, the section should be on, like, the Academy Awards
Oh,
anyways
God.
for, like, animated films should have, like, multiple
Oh, yes.
or, you know,
Completely agree.
stunt people should have their own, but don't even get me started. That's a
Yeah,
whole other episode.
spicy.
Yeah, spicy.
Yes. I found some like really cool fun facts though about the film.
Yes.
Like including that I mean, like we were just talking about, it takes
Mhm.
such an amount of like immense amount of time and patience. It took them almost 4 years to make Coraline.
Ugh,
4 years. Think
my
about that. Doing that
gosh.
every day. Like,
That's a full college career.
yeah. Oh shit, yeah. Holy
Couldn't
crap.
be me. Could not be me. I would get so bored.
That's all 4 years
2
of high
weeks.
school. Like
2 weeks they would get out of me. And I mean, like,
jeez.
still?
A child graduated high school in the amount of
Yep.
time that it took them
Yep.
to make that movie. That's crazy.
Could not be me.
And like, Althea, what's her name? Chrome.
Yes.
She, they literally hired her because she was a specialist in knitting tiny clothes.
I did know that their little sweaters were,
They're
like, hand
knitted. And
so
like,
cool, especially because the other mother's
yes.
sweater is so iconic, like that
Oh,
cable
yeah.
knit sweater.
Mhm. And like, Coraline's star sweater that the other mother
Yes.
gifts her. Like, apparently it took her like 6 weeks to make that.
Oh my god.
Think about that, like the tiny little sweater, and like she said that
That gets
some of
so
the
frustrating.
I know. She said that some of the needles that she uses to make them are like thinner than a piece of hair, like a strand of
Honey.
hair. Can you
Could-
imagine that?
What an icon. Like I said,
like she probably has immense arthritis now.
I'm telling you, my big old clumsy, like, salad
Yeah,
fingers
no.
could not be me.
No, could never. I can't even fucking knit, so I would I can't sew, I can't it's not my talent. But
But you
yeah, I
can
thought that was
cosplay.
crazy. Oh, and you know how I was talking about the tennis ball, how
Yes.
the cherry blossom trees were made of popcorn.
Isn't that crazy, the ingenuity with
Like
that? It's insane.
popcorn.
It's
Like
so
you could
cool.
just pick a piece of the tree off and eat it. That would be great. Like,
love
yeah, I
it.
ate a piece of the set from Coraline. What was it? Yeah, it was popcorn cherry blossom tree.
But it's like, who looks at popcorn as like flowers?
Yeah, I would have never thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. And they don't look like popcorn.
No,
like,
it doesn't
I
look
just
cheap at all.
no.
It's like a good stop motion to me
Crazy.
makes you forget it's stop motion.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I forget like how that's what I mean. Like when I watch a stop motion movie, it really takes me to another level because it's like somebody did every single part of this.
Oh,
Like
every
every little
millimeter.
breath that they
Yes.
take, the way that their hair moves, like when you see the shower scene, like
right?
where she turns on the shower and it dumps on her head, it's like that. Like they literally made each segment of that. That's crazy.
I think that's why stop motion will always exist is because there's a level of personal
Oh yeah.
to it. It's like personable. So like people feel it's very intimate
Yeah.
when you watch it because you're like, oh, someone's physical hands have it's kind of like why hand-drawn animation still holds up.
That's why
You
I
know?
talked about this when I was talking about Howl's Moving Castle, that these
It's
Studio
so
Ghibli movies are some of my favorite movies of all
carefully
time
drawn.
because you can just tell the amount of care that they put into it.
Their heart and soul.
And I think I mentioned this in the same episode that when Disney redid, or not redid, but when they made the sequel to Mary Poppins, they had to search for animators because no one does it anymore.
No.
It's a dying art.
Yeah, which is it's
sad.
Like, it's really cool, like the strides that we've taken with, like, I think graphic design and like Procreate artists, you go do your thing, you know. But I think that there's room for all kinds of that artistry, and it makes me really sad when that places close,
it's
and
not,
people aren't found, and
exactly. It makes me sad because I do love that animation. It's just so beautiful, and the craftsmanship that goes into it, and you can tell that every little piece is like made with so much love and care, and it's
painstaking.
Yes,
blood, sweat, and tears.
It's just so beautiful, and oh man, I love that shit. Yeah. So also, I never read the book actually of Coraline.
I found out it was a book today when I was doing research. I was like, hello.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I knew that there was a book, but I never read it, and I didn't realize how in depth the lore goes with the book.
Oh, really?
Apparently YB doesn't even make an appearance in the book.
Oh.
And I was like, wait, what?
He's like
the
one
heart
of the
and
soul.
Yeah, he's like the person that constantly is helping Coraline throughout the film.
Yes.
So that took me back. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And man, just, it's crazy how much like a book can differ from the film. Just like I was talking about with Howl's Moving Castle, it's so different from the book, and
sometimes changes are like that are welcome, and it's like you look back and you read the book and you're like, oh, and it's like you can appreciate the original stuff. Like, I've been approaching that a lot lately because I've been watching a lot of Stephen King movies.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, I'm really happy you changed that because sometimes Stephen King loses me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a bit much.
But I didn't find out. But I read that Coraline was a book like before I got here because I do my research. I am an educated guest.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, this is probably the most interesting fact that I found interesting was that Henry Selick pushed like heavily for the film to be stop motion because it was originally going to be live action.
I feel like it would have not.
Yeah, and that's exactly why he pushed it, is because he felt like it would have taken away from the story. He felt like it would not have translated as well in live action as it would in animation, and he pushed so hard. And I'm so glad that happened because I completely agree. I don't think it would not have. I mean, with how much detail and color,
even like
and
going through the door. And
that magical
it would have looked
moment.
like a Doctor Who knockoff. Like,
oh yes, the TARDIS. Yes, I can see it. I see the vision.
Are you meaning to say that not everything deserves a live action remake, Rachel? Are you saying that on this day?
That. Yes, I 100% say that.
Hot take.
Disney, can you stop ruining my childhood movies? Because I still don't like Aladdin. I don't care what anybody says.
There it is.
I don't care what anybody says. I don't care that people are like, Will Smith's version was okay. I'm sorry.
It was fun,
no one will replace Robin Williams as the genie for me.
Yeah, it was just...
It was trash. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. It really was trash. It was just trash.
That could be a good podcast, is just remakes.
God.
Movie remakes. And if there are
just me ranting about how shitty most of them are.
There has to be a good remake.
No. Okay, all right, you want to talk about this? You want to talk about this? Okay, Karate Kid. Of worms. Karate Kid. Fucked. Okay, only good thing about that movie is Jackie Chan.
Yes.
Only good thing. Okay, let's talk about this again. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Fucked.
There was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yes, they made it live action, and fucking Megan Fox is in it. So just put that out there. Megan Fox is in a movie.
Oh, leave my baby alone.
Her toe thumbs, man.
Hey, leave her alone. Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body is the one exception of the movie.
I would like to talk about Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body is a good movie.
Slept on.
Yeah, it is pretty slept on.
Because it's
I think it's because it was talked so much trash when it first came out.
I think it's because it was having a woman protagonist.
I think it was too. I really do.
Hot take.
Anyway. Yeah, don't get me started on
On-
how shitty most remakes are. God.
I love getting you started though.
God. That literally would just be me,
But
an entire episode
You
of me being
know,
like,
I can feel it if I like in the air, you know, like the Coraline live action and then
yeah,
the
it would have been
internet.
trash.
Well, it's just like certain things like really like I think really people
I mean, think
get
about
caught
it.
up in it.
Like, how the hell would they do the button eyes?
Dude, it would look so weird.
It would look very weird.
Or
like,
even like when it's
unless they wouldn't
Bedlam.
even do the button eyes, but I feel like that wouldn't have translated well.
Well, it's like, do you really want to see like a part stone spider mom realistic? It was
Oh,
scary
shit.
as
Yeah.
is. Imagine if it was like quote unquote
Fuck.
realistic. This movie gave me nightmares as is. I don't need to see that IRL.
Jeez. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely stand behind Henry Selick's decision to make this a stop motion film.
I think the thing with live action is people just get caught up in who they want cast as that.
Yeah.
just-
Well, and apparently they would have still cast Dakota Fanning.
Oh yeah. Well, she was a perfect choice.
She was a great choice.
When
for
in doubt for a small child, like little girl voice, it's always like
Dakota Fanning, yeah,
or
always.
Elle Fanning now.
Oh yeah.
Because
Dakota's
old and not
old.
good anymore
yeah.
by Hollywood
What's
standards.
that movie with her and oh my gosh, I feel bad. It's gonna drive me crazy. We're like what's her name? She's died like oh man.
You got this.
God, it's gonna drive me crazy.
Disney
Is
movie?
it Uptown Girl?
Oh, that's Dakota. Yeah, Uptown Girls
Right,
with Brittany
that's right.
Murphy. Oh,
Yes!
so good.
Thank you.
Fundamentals are the building blocks
That
of fun.
movie's so fucking sad.
Oh,
anyway.
so good. Rest in peace.
But yeah,
Brittany
that's every
Murphy.
time I think of Dakota Fanning, I think of her in that movie.
Yes. I think it's so funny, like finding out like childhood like people that are in
are
movies,
grown now.
Because, yeah, well, that and also like when you're a kid, you're not like, who's the voice actress for this movie that I very
God.
much enjoy? It's like, oh, it's Dakota Fanning. Oh, she was in everything.
Literally, anytime somebody like actually watches the dubbed version of Howl's Moving Castle, I'm like, that's Batman. It's Christian Bale. That's why you sound so sexy.
Are you ready for a Halloween fun fact? Not
Yes.
Easy Being Geeky fans. The voice of Lilo from Lilo and Stitch was the little girl from The Ring.
Oh
Thank you.
shit! What?
It is. Thank you.
No, it's
Samara.
not.
Yo, no. Google it. I'm
Holy
correct.
Shit.
Debbie Chase was Lilo from Lilo and Stitch, and she's also Samara Morgan from The Ring. That
Holy
little ugly
shit.
face crawling out of the TV, scaring you and your middle
Me
school
when I get out the
friends.
shower.
Honest to God. 7 days.
Jesus. Okay, so with me, horror movies, I just always think of Scary Movie, and that's
Horror movie to Rachel is Hocus Pocus
Yeah.
or Casper the Friendly Ghost or Adam's Family Values. Like Rachel does not do horror. I don't know how we're friends. Like
I just
Coraline is probably as scary as she can deal.
Yeah, like but the thing is no, because I love suspense. That's my thing. I'm a bitch when it comes to blood and guts.
And I'm like Cannibal Holocaust puts me to sleep.
But when it comes to suspense movies, true crime and shit like that, I love that.
Rachel could watch something and they were like, and he was violently stabbed to death by his wife 47 times and she'll sleep like a baby. Like, I'm telling you, it is.
It's so true though. It's so true. Like literally, oh god. When I literally binge watched the crap out of You and like took a 10-hour nap. Like was like no problem. Just him murdering everybody.
But I could be like, do you want to watch
Him being a
with me
freaking stalker, murdering people, making her shit in a bucket, you know?
But The Conjuring or anything with like a witch or anything. Like Rachel's like, no.
Nope.
No. Not
Yeah,
today, Satan.
I'm a big baby when it comes to that.
I tried to
God.
get her and her husband to come with me to like a haunted house or come see me when I worked at a
Jesus,
haunted house. And they were like, I love you. No, thank you.
No, I'm such a bitch. I've been to one haunted house in my entire life, and it actually was fucking terrifying.
Rachel's one to swing though, so I don't know
and
if I'd want.
and I almost hit somebody. I was like, I'm sorry, defense.
She's from Long Island. She'll swing.
Yeah, every time somebody says that, I just instantly think of New Girl when Schmidt's like, Long Island, son, and he like smacks his chest.
That's Rachel.
Long Island, son. Yeah, I like seriously was like, that's my people.
Golly. I feel seen.
I feel seen. Oh man. I did like when so I recently rewatched Coraline to prep for
Yes.
this, and I noticed so much more shit because I took notes. I took notes because I
Mm.
had questions. Like so many. Like the first thing that they like basically say is that like Wybie like first meets Coraline and he's like, I'm shocked that there's a kid living here because my grandma doesn't normally let kids move into the Pink Palace. Why the fuck
Mm.
was she allowed to live there then? And here's what I'm gonna tell you. Here's my theory.
Okay, I'm ready.
So I think that Wybie's grandma, I mean, obviously her sister was one of the kids that died, and is one of the ghost children in the movie. And I think that as she got older, people thought she was crazy and didn't believe her.
Yeah.
And so she when obviously she starts to get old and is like that's her place, but her son, Wybie's dad, takes over
Yes.
the property and he's like, you know what, whatever, it's gonna be okay. And I think when Wybie was a kid, she was worried something might happen to him. So she used Coraline as
Oh.
like some kind of sacrificial lamb so
Oh,
that Wybie wouldn't get hurt.
that heartless wench.
Yeah, I really do think that that's a possibility that she was trying to just protect her family and was like, "Sorry, kid.
Right?
Sorry." But I think that's a very huge possibility.
Well, it's
And
like, why would that he have said that?
yeah, why the
What that's
fuck?
a very they chose to include that
Yeah,
detail.
that's the thing, man. I
Interesting.
really do
Very
think that
interesting.
it's a huge possibility that she knew um what was going on and I mean obviously she did because her sister disappeared and she knew very well like don't go there. You're not allowed to go there.
Yeah.
She knew something was wrong. And she even freaked out when the doll went missing. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Ugh.
He was like, "My grandma is freaking out. I mean, like, do you know where that doll is? Apparently it was her sister's." And it's like,
Ugh. Ugh.
yeah, so I think that she very well knew what was happening with Coraline and was just like, "Well, I'd rather it be her than my grandson," you know?
Well, and it would make sense kind of thing.
I think
I
so.
think that's a really good theory.
Thank you. I also okay, so if you've ever seen the movie, you notice at the very last scene, the ending, uh, the cat
Yes.
walks across and
Yes.
disappears. I don't think she ever got away. I really don't.
The other mother?
No, no,
Oh,
no,
no, Coraline?
Coraline. I don't think she
Ooh.
escaped. And here, I'll tell you why. Because there's so much evidence
Yes.
that she didn't. And I'll tell you why. Just one, the cat, because it's
Yes.
constantly referenced that he can only do that in the other world.
Yes.
That's the first thing he says is like, "Oh, I'm just a normal cat in the real world,
Yes.
but I can do all this here." And so that was my first thing. That was my first thing that I noticed when I rewatched it. Second is the way she returns to the other world. When she
Right?
goes to bed, she magically wakes up. But here's what the kicker is. The ghost children say she'll never let you leave.
Yes.
So, how the fuck is she getting back?
Yeah, like
Without the other mother letting her go back, because she goes through the tunnel and then magically she reappears when she goes to bed.
Yeah.
And it's already proven the second time she tries to go back when she's freaking out because they try to put the buttons in her eyes.
yes.
That she can't go back that way
Yeah.
because the other mother doesn't want her
She
to
controls
leave.
the
She
portal.
controls the world.
Yeah.
So I don't think she ever actually escaped. And I think what it is basically like, okay, and here's my other thing.
Yes.
So the other mother does not have to make button eyes.
Mm.
Because if you pay attention when Coraline goes to rescue her parents,
Yes.
the first image you see when she starts to crawl in through the tunnel is the other mother perfectly resembling her mother with normal eyes.
Yes.
So she doesn't need to have the button eyes. I think that she just used this as a way to make the children feel that they were comfortable enough to realize, okay, this is the fake world, this is the real world. I don't think any of them ever actually went back.
I think it symbolized a relinquishing of control too.
I think so too.
Like I can get into a lot of my own theories in regards to
yeah,
that
I
later.
love this film and obviously time moves differently there because
yes.
when
That always
Coraline
threw me off.
leaves the second, I think it's the second or third time, I
Yes.
can't remember. when she goes back, her mom and her had just had like an argument about how she couldn't have the gloves and things, and like
Yeah.
her mom was like, I gotta go food shopping. Clearly the mother came back, dropped the food off, and the food when Coraline goes back is rotten.
Yeah.
So how fucking long had it been?
Right.
And also, I think that she's like in some kind of like limbo or something, because there's like the other mother's world that's like so perfect, and then there's like the world that she feels is what she thinks is her world. I don't think it's
Yes.
that she's actually going back. I think it's like a limbo where the other mother wants her to think she's going back. So she feels like that there's some sense of like, I have some kind of control. I'm able to go back. I can get away from her.
This movie's so much scarier than like people
Yes,
think.
it
Like,
is. It's so deep, man. But and like, oh, and if you really pay attention to the words that the other father sings to her, it's so fucking creepy.
Yes.
The last line he says is, our eyes will be on Coraline.
Yes, our eyes will be on Coraline. I have a fun fact about
because it's such a cute song, and you're like, oh yeah.
Coraline. That one, yeah.
And then you're like, wait, what the fuck did he say? And he says, our eyes will be on Coraline, and that was like, okay, so she controls everything essentially. So when Coraline is thinking that she's safe, she's not.
No. Well, the fun thing about that song is it's the only song in the movie that has lyrics of like actual words. Like I actually found this theory the other day.
You're right.
It's the only song with real lyrics,
because it's like
the rest of them is just it's
instrumental,
pure gibberish.
Yeah.
It's not like, because I always thought like like was like, oh, maybe that's like
another language
Swedish
or something. Yeah,
no,
I seriously thought that too.
My dumb butt. I was like, it's Swedish. It's not American, so I don't know it. But no, it's actually pure gibberish, and it was meant to be gibberish because only that song was meant to have real lyrics.
Wow. That's wow.
I was like, okay, I have that fun fact for Rachel. I was ready.
I love that.
I'd like to touch on a theory.
Okay.
So I think a lot of the things that the film can represent, I don't know if you caught on to this, it's like how like children really children don't have control over their lives. And I think that was like obviously kind of like a big theme, but it's like when you're a kid you just think like, oh, parents don't understand, but it was like how much it's like your life is dictated by adults no matter how right or wrong that is. And it's like, what are we able to do from escaping that situation? So it gets even more bleak when, you know, I think about that theory where it's like, did she really escape? It's like, can they really escape? It's like,
and let me tell you what, like there's okay, so I found this theory, and it's like very similar to the limbo thing. I think she actually even says that, the same terminology, limbo. I wish I couldn't remember her name off the top of my head, but I will in like our descriptions and shit. I'll link it because it was very well done. I don't believe some of the stuff, but main points I can totally see. So one of the things she touched on was that she thinks that Mr. Bobinski and the two elderly ladies were actually also lured in by the other mother.
Oh, totally.
And so they're thinking they're just crazy.
Yeah.
But Mr. Bobinski talks to the fucking mice.
Yes, all the time.
And
then they're the ones that led her through the portal. Like there's a mouse that led her through the portal,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And so the theory that she was saying was that, you know, they also got caught in the other world. So they're in like that limbo world.
Because they were also in the other world.
They were.
Quote unquote,
and so what she thinks it is that the other world wasn't made for Coraline. They already had their like fantasies, and she just went into it.
Yes.
So she made their perfect fantasies for each of those people.
I think
because that was in their like prime of their heyday. So she wanted them to constantly relive it.
Oh, completely. And I think like the other world, I think like her ultimate goal was to have like as many people sucked into her web, and I think that's, you know, the very clear imagery of her being a spider, you know.
Because that was the other thing. So you said sucked, because the other mother, it's canon actually in the book and in the movie that she does not eat the children.
No,
she sucks their lives away.
Yes, Dementor style.
So full on Dementor style. And so
J.K. Rowling found it.
And so problematic people. Jeez.
I wish she would.
Another time.
Can of worms. Sorry, y'all.
Jeez.
Sorry, y'all.
God, and it sucks because it's such a good. Anyway,
she can't take it away. Breathe.
She's
Deep breaths,
awful.
girl. Sorry,
She's
y'all.
awful.
I'm a can of worm opener. And me and Rachel are bunny trail city.
Yeah, I have ADHD, so just
Same.
once squirrel.
Right.
Anyway.
But she sucks the life out of them, Dementor style.
Yes,
Shannon, which is I found scarier than eating them.
I did too because if you pay attention to where Coraline like kicks her and like gets away, you know, she says
the cat at her, doesn't she?
She throws the cat at her, and she says, "I'll die without you."
Mm-hmm.
That's like, first of all, that's such a specific way to put it.
It's weird.
It's so weird. And that's what caught me, is that she doesn't necessarily need, and I noticed that she needs their love.
Yes, she wants
them
to
want her. So she can't just take them. It's
two-sided. Because otherwise, why would she take so much time and effort? Like, if all she wanted to do was suck the life out of them, she would have just done it.
She doesn't need to eat.
Yeah, she wants them.
She just wants them to love her and to take their life.
Give their life to her.
To her, exactly. That's what it is. She survives on their life force, not necessarily. Exactly. It's, oh man. And I've noticed there's so much foreshadowing in this movie. There's so much of it. Like, if you pay attention
only
to all
on like the second and third watch.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, because I noticed as like I was rewatching it, there's so many hints to like the ghost children. Yes. She has their pictures all over the house. She has them everywhere.
Yes.
There's like the 3 little children and what else? The referencing to her hand so many times. Oh
my gosh, yes.
With the lightning, and then the tea leaves, and then at the end again in the sky when Coraline's trying to leave. Mm-hmm. They show like the hands in the moon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and hands were like a big.
Oh yeah. Because if you pay attention,
imagery, even at the end, like with the well and like the tying of the key, and all that, like it was just like I think stuff like that is like not on accident.
No. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's so much. Like, I think the reason I love this movie so much is because it does remind me in a way of like Studio Ghibli movies. Yes. How the world is open. There is not supposed to be like a nice pretty bow. Yeah, to finish it off. It's just open-ended.
Very uncommon, and not a lot of studios are brave enough to do.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's brave.
It is. Like because people can run wild with it. You know.
Oh, when I showed Zach Spirited Away the other day, he goes, "Well, like, because he hadn't seen it."
Zachary Nolan, we are gonna fight.
Yeah, like, or the last time he saw it, he was like, 6, because in the 90s. But like, still, and he was like, "Oh, so it doesn't end? Like, what do they meet again?" I'm like, we don't know. That's the fun part.
Still waiting for them to meet again.
They will. They have. I can feel it in my bones.
Oh my god, I've seen so much fan art that makes me cry every time I see it. I'm not even gonna fucking lie. I've cried so many times seeing fan art where they're like older.
Yeah.
Well, obviously he's not older because he's a spirit, but like Chihiro's older, and he's like, "You found me," and I'm like, "Ah."
That was also. I'm pretty sure the dub was also Debbie Chase. I'm like, I can double check that,
shit.
But I'm like 90. I think so.
Google it right now.
I'm gonna Google it right this moment.
Google
it. Do you hear me, internet? Now. Hey.
Sorry. This is not ASMR. We do not stand.
Unsubscribe now. I'm so sorry.
Not Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
My husband walks over and he's like, "Who?" Because he got all fucking excited.
Yes, National Lampoon Christmas Vacation. Chevy Chase
was in fucking Spirited Away. It's already crazy enough that Billy Crystal.
I was right.
Shut up.
Okay, so here's my fun fact. Yes, Samara from The Ring was, and Lilo from Lilo and Stitch was also Chihiro in Spirited Away.
Holy shit.
Yes. And
it's already crazy enough that Billy Crystal does the voice of Calcifer. So don't try to bring Chevy Chase in this shit, okay?
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
Delete.
National Lampoon.
Yes. Christmas horror vacation.
God. Christmas horror vacation.
I can't believe I got to bring it back to my fun fact from earlier.
Shitter's full.
Buy yourself something nice.
Buy yourself. Jesus. Oh man. Oh, shut up. Oh my god.
We'll save it for the Christmas episode.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
But also like they like constantly are like hinting at Coraline of her demise essentially.
Oh my god, yes. I noticed that.
The other mother the second night, first of all, when the first night that she meets her, she says, "I'm your other mother,
silly."
Yeah. And then the second night she says, "Oh, I'm your mother." And then she says, "Oh, go get your because Coraline says, "Oh, my other father," and she says, "No, your better father." Like she corrected her.
Oof.
So I was like, holy shit. She's like really trying to like brainwash this kid into thinking like, yes, stay here. It's better here. You want to be
Low-key
here.
was.
Yeah. Like
problematic thought. Low-key was.
But there's so much shit like that. Also,
yes.
Okay, so another question I had that like blew my fucking mind. Okay, so you know how she's able to make carbon copies of people, but why didn't she make copies of Coraline's friends from her hometown?
Interesting.
That would have been a very good way for her to get Coraline to stay, because she doesn't even fucking like YB. Why would she make a copy of a kid she doesn't even fucking like?
Right?
So to me, I think what it is she can only make copies of people that have been to the Pink Palace.
That's what I was about to say, because I was like, maybe because they haven't been like in her
because YB's never been inside the Pink Palace, but he has been to it. He grew up around it. His grandmother owns the place. He's probably been with his dad there, you know, showing the property.
Yes.
But
if I were to take an educated guess, I would probably be like, oh, she can only like she can't. Her web doesn't go past the Pink Palace.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too.
Only a certain amount.
She can't make it unless it's been there or something.
Definitely.
Because if it would also make sense at the portion of the movie where Coraline's like, why would you make all this just for it to end and then come back to it? Because the world literally disappears into a blank white empty void.
Oh.
And then she walks back and it recreates itself.
Oof.
So
to me, that's so scary.
I know. Holy shit.
It's like
super
duper creepy.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh man. Also, why okay, so I always wondered like how the pathway got bricked back up.
I never even thought of that.
Because she goes to look at it again and it's fucking bricked up again. So I wonder if it was the first night that she she wanted Coraline to believe it was kind of a dream and to get excited for it, and then have her mother think, you know, she's crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
So that way the parents don't go snooping around.
Yeah.
And then she's able to take her. That was my only thing that I could think of.
Or maybe it's like when the well was bricked up, like that got bricked up.
So I'm glad you brought up the well.
Yes.
I'm so glad you brought up the well.
Also,
I think they're connected. I really do. And I think that, so going into like deep lore here.
I'm ready.
I noticed that there's a fairy.
Let's just jump into it.
There's like a fairy ring. So if you,
like with the mushrooms,
with the mushrooms.
Right?
Yeah. So what if it's like that she is like supposed to, because like fairy, like I looked a little bit into this, that fairy rings, it's like it's either to keep something away, or to invite something, And I think because the well was like closed up, that they were trying to
keep something
away.
And because they said, the ghost children, like, she will not stop looking for you.
Yeah.
Until if she's alive.
Yeah.
Which I thought was super interesting. If she's alive, it's like, how does she die? You know, like if she doesn't
think that
them, you know,
she really does survive on their life force. Because if you on their love. Because if you think about it, another thing I really noticed was obviously it's been quite some time.
Yes.
Since she's had another kid. Because in the very beginning of the movie, when they're just showing her making the doll, you see that there's cobwebs everywhere and things like that, and
maybe the grandmother was trying to protect any other kid, and, you know.
I really do think that maybe that there was a possibility she tried, and then maybe her son, like obviously they think she's crazy because she's been spouting out about her sister
forever.
You know, disappearing for forever, you know, so who knows, maybe she was trying to protect Coraline, and maybe the dad like took over the property and just was like, yeah, you can move in. Because like my mom's crazy. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. You know,
old people. What do they know?
But what does get me is that the doll was in YB's grandmother's car. So that's the thing that makes me think that she might have known.
Sketchy.
I thought that was really sketchy.
It's like, could she plant it there? That's when you
get into, But then it's
like,
also because the doll fucking moves on its own.
That's the thing is, it's like, did the doll like, oh.
But also, if you knew this shit as the grandmother,
burn it.
Burn that fucking doll, man.
Burn it. Throw it in a fire.
The key too. Why is it in the fucking house? You notice that it's
that
just in a random ass drawer.
that to me, I think
That's
is
like
super interesting.
planted. She planted the shit in there.
Yeah,
I think
it's
the grandma
like, why
ain't
was
so
Coraline
sweet.
the first person to
I
like?
really think the grandma ain't so sweet. I think she
No.
fucking had her toes in that shit, man.
Oh, Rachel
She
hates
was
old
like-
people 2020.
Right.
Just kidding. No, the grandmother's sketchy, and to pretend that she's
sketchy as fuck.
not. No, super sketchy.
Like I really
But
think
it's like when you think about it, you're like, wait a minute.
it makes no sense how like she's able to anyway. Yeah, okay. And so the other reason why I think Coraline actually never left is because think about it. They're very careful with the way that they word things in this movie. Because
like down to it's like a rocket launch how scheduled this movie is.
Yes, because like when Coraline is trying to explore the house, she's obviously bothering her parents as they're trying to work on this paper, and she's like, "Can we go
with the
in
iconic
the garden
of the dad, like that iconic like
God with the
image.
scene where she turns off the freaking power to the
Yes.
and like that's great, by the way.
It's iconic.
No!
I know I'm getting old when
Yeah.
I really understand how they feel.
Yes. But so the mother says like, I hate mud or something like that.
Yes.
So why at the end of the movie then are they planting flowers with her when they hate doing that? Because they don't actually do it. They just write fucking articles for them. So that to me is like the other mother is literally giving Coraline everything she ever wanted. That
she
the
already
other
got her.
mother, because she already has her.
What if she's in the snow globe
So yeah,
and they never got like she's with her parents in the snow globe? Or something?
I don't think that she ever actually captured her parents. I think that it is that
all
of a way for Coraline to believe that she was able to escape.
Ugh.
I really don't think that she ever left. I think that very first night, like maybe the second night, I think since then she wasn't able to leave. I think she wanted to give her a false sense of hope
I would
that she
say
could.
the second night.
I would think it's the second night because obviously the first night she wanted her to like have some kind of false sense of security.
Yeah.
But since then, I don't think she ever was actually able to leave.
Well, I freaking love that theory so much.
Thank you.
Like, because it makes it makes
It
a
makes
lot of sense.
sense.
It's kind of like it's like no, that's canon. Yeah.
That's canon.
Yeah.
I'm still sketch about the grandma. I'm still really sketch about the grandma.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna watch it and be like, you
Grandma
old wench, you heartless wench,
freaking sacrificial lamb.
I'm telling you, I'm like, she knew.
She knew.
She knew.
I really do think grandma knew some shit. Because
If
obviously,
she did, it's like, do you blame her?
Yeah, I know.
Still,
poor YB, man.
I tell you.
And I think obviously, like, you can tell, like, towards the end of the movie, she is starting to get tired because, like, she's trying to get Coraline and, like, little things like, they're not listening to her as well. Like, YB's able to, I don't think that was actually that she was losing her power. Again, I think it was a false sense of security for Coraline to believe that she was able to get away because they all listened to her.
Yeah.
There's no way that they could disobey her.
Leave,
she controls the whole world.
That was always something that like kind of confused me. Is it's like how if it's her world, like
how are they able to disobey her?
She lets them go.
That's what I think
and that first night it was supposed to be super enticing, and it was. They were perfect, and
I thought
beautiful.
You'd like him better if he didn't talk. Yeah. So it's like everything she's ever wanted. Like, here's this friend that she doesn't even like. She doesn't like that he talks. I'm gonna make him better, essentially, and not talk.
God.
So I really do believe that it's that she never actually escapes. Because even the ghost children say the beldam is always listening. So why the hell? Okay, first of all, why would the beldam put Coraline in a room where the other fucking ghost kids are?
Yeah.
Why would she do that? That's just asking. Yeah, it's all like just a way for her to have some sense of security that she can leave, and she can't. She can't. She's stuck there.
Spooky.
I mean, it would only make sense at the ending. I mean, with like I said, the cat, they very, like I said, they're so careful with how they word things.
Yeah, the cat really is, especially because the cat was such like a linchpin in like getting the beldam. Like,
I really do think that it's that she never actually escaped, and that she's actually stuck there.
Oh,
and
poor Coraline.
Yeah, because like I said, she doesn't need to have the button eyes.
No.
And so maybe it takes more of her power or whatever, but obviously over time it's just gonna
I think
it's
the
not
button
gonna
eyes were
matter.
meant to be like a symbolism of like relinquishing
Yeah.
their life to her.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially because it's like such like a uncommon ask. It's not like she's like, sign this paper. It's like,
No, give me your
"Shove
fucking
buttons
eyes.
on your eyeballs.
Give me your
You're
fucking
not sewing
eyeballs.
buttons on my eyes.
Yeah, I feel that, Coraline.
Same.
You're not sewing buttons in my eyes. Yeah, me.
Shrill.
Same. Jeez. Yeah, but oof. I literally just thought of Matt Pat, but it's only a theory, a game theory.
A spooky movie
Yeah,
theory.
a spooky theory. Jeez.
And cut.
Oh man, it has been quite fun talking with you about this spooky movie.
Yes.
The spookiest I can get.
I know it. Bless it.
Oh man, but I've really enjoyed this, and thank you for coming. I've thoroughly enjoyed having you here.
Me. I love you so much. I
I
love
adore
talking about
you.
geeky with you. We do it anyway, so
We
might
do
as
it
well
anyway.
record it.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man. And as always, guys, it's not easy being geeky. Thanks for listening to Not Easy Being Geeky. Be sure to check out our social media, including TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and now YouTube, where you can binge season 1. As always, thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world, and without you all, we wouldn't have our new dope setup. Thanks again, and stay geeky.